Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays a Binding by AFTERBIRTH Plus. Sorry, I gotta be very careful. Sometimes, when you hit the space bar, OBS is like, hey, stop recording. Luckily, it hasn't burned me yet. I gotta figure out, I think it's because when it's like a Windows form control, when you select the stop recording button, space bar is like, hey, toggle. Anyway, it hasn't caused any problems. Yeah, I'm glad I noticed it in advance. YTA4, 2 BBN. We start with a little guppy's head. And a little bit of, BBF? I always forget. There's BBF, BFF, BB-8. The cutest of all possible robots. Droids. Sorry, there's a difference. Apparently. I don't know. What do you think, Tomo? Tomo's taking a nap. He just woke up. He must be tired. Ba-dum-bum-ch. This is actually, like, the most pleasant start we've had in a little while here. We've managed to build up a little bit of a streak, and to be honest with you, the streak has not come easily. There's been a few runs that were automatic, easy wins, you know, less than 20 minutes, which is just, that's like the 1% of runs that take less than 20 minutes and happen to result in a victory. But, nice. That was very helpful, actually. Thank you. Please? It did hit. It did hit. There's also been some that were like, I mean, you've been watching, probably. Some of them have been real spotty. So I'm grateful that this one is basically, this strikes me as a classic Eden start, by which I mean it feels average, but is probably way, way, way above average. We have like, I would at this point describe it as a good rate of fire. Because we've had so many awful rate of fires historically that this feels better, I think. We have got a good spacebar item. You know, actually, relatively, all of our stats are pretty solid here. Got almost nothing to complain about. I think we'll just head down, and we got a pretty exciting potential blank canvas for us to work with here. It's an exciting time. Black Rune, always potentially nice as well. Had some divisive topics in the past few Isaac episodes. What can I say? Apparently I'm feeling spicy today. You know? First I was like, I respect your right to like the Joker movie, but I didn't really like it. That's a spicy opinion, apparently. Then I said, hey, if somebody has a deathly allergy to something, you should not expose them to it for your own convenience. And that's a spicy opinion, apparently. I don't know, man. Apparently, I'm just that kind of guy. I'm full of contentious subjects here. What's my new... I don't have another contentious subject. Can I tell you? Well, actually, I guess I do have a contentious subject. It's politics. I voted in the Canadian federal election yesterday. I'm going to date the backlog here, just so you know. The actual election is not for 8 days, but, you know, you can do early voting. I was a little, and you know, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. I'm not going to tell you how I hope the election goes, etc., etc. My main purpose, we were watching a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, and Larry David goes into a doctor's office, and he's telling them how to do their job. And, you know, he goes, I'm not an inventor. I'm an improver. I go places, and I find issues with their policy and their systems, and then I improve them. And Kate turned to me and she's like, oh my god, it's you. And it's true. The main reason I voted early is because I'm a decided voter. But then on top of that, I wanted that sweet sticker they give you, you know, that says I voted. I don't know, I'm making a joke, of course, but I don't know why people are so... Why is that such an issue that people get annoyed by when people take photos of their I voted sticker, you know? I get that you should vote, you know, for... No, let me put it this way. I think it relies on the false premise that millennials only vote so they get a sticker, which is absolutely idiotic, but... you know, apart from that, if somebody wants to say, like, hey, I voted, and they take a selfie with their I voted sticker, who cares? It doesn't mean they want credit for voting, necessarily. Like, I tweeted that I voted. Sticker or no sticker, because I didn't get a sticker. They didn't have them yet. Yes, I did ask. I wanted the social benefit that comes from getting that freaking sticker, dude. Otherwise, why am I standing here? But I did it mostly because I'm like, hey, don't forget that there's an election. And then on top of that, like, you know, people in my generation have historically had low voter turnout. So I don't know if tweeting that maybe has a chance that one person that wasn't gonna vote votes. I don't really care if who they vote for. They could vote for the people on the exact opposite side of the political spectrum. I just think it's good to be engaged. I would rather they agreed with every one of my opinions, you know, 100%, but that's not necessarily realistic. Regardless, though, I will say I'm pinballing here off a few different subjects, but there's an ad that played. We got like an aggressive political advertising blitz, but you know, it's not all ads for like, hey, you know, this person did this, you should vote for me. It's more like there's ads by the Canadian government that are like, vote please. So there was an ad in front of the movies yesterday that was like, before you pick this movie, a lot of things had to happen. First, you saw that it got greenlit. Then, you saw the set photos, the leaks, the costumes. It's an awards contender. You saw the teaser trailer twice. You put the release date on your calendar. You messaged your friends and got together. You watched the real trailer. And then you picked your seats, blah, blah. And it was a long trailer. It was a long trailer. At the end of the trailer, they said, how much effort have you put into figuring out who you're going to vote for? Elections Canada. That was the ad. And then people were like, ooh. And I was like, no ooh. No ooh. Like, they didn't get you. Here's how I decided how to see Joker, okay? Oh, they're making a Joker movie. And then reviews came out, and I was like, ooh, it's divisive. I'll see it. That's it. I put way more effort into who I was going to vote for. I watched debates. I've been following party platforms and positions for months, if not longer. You're really going above and beyond to make it seem like the average moviegoer is way more engaged than they actually are, in my opinion. The average moviegoer could not tell you the name of the... Honestly, I think that if you went into a Joker movie theater and you asked who plays the Joker, 80% of people would be able to tell you. 20% of people would be like, I don't know, it's the guy from Gladiator. You're overestimating the amount of work that went into picking this film. For most people here. We don't have a key. We don't have a key. What do you want me to do? We don't have a key. We don't have a key. What can I do? That's maybe just my 2 cents. Anyway. But in spite of that, I voted. I gotta tell you, I did early voting because I thought, you know, I mean, I voted on election day. I voted federally before, obviously. I don't know, this is like my 3rd or 4th election federally. It was probably like, you know, I'm thinking it's 2009 might have been my first one. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't really matter too much, but I voted federally, I voted provincially, I voted mayorally. I've waited in line. I've had situations where I've walked in and there's nobody else there, and you can vote. You know, I'd like to vote early so that I could skip the line, if you know what I mean. But then, you know, I almost had a millennial aneurysm. What's a millennial aneurysm? It's when you as a millennial are forced to deal with an antiquated, boomer-driven bureaucracy, and it makes your head want to explode. So here's how it works. We got, and by the way, I know the system is worse in other places, but I just want to give you a little taste, a little slice of life. So, thank you. We go to our, we've received letters in the mail that are like, you're registered to vote. That's cool. Here's your polling station. That's cool. Here's the dates and times you can vote. That's cool. Absolutely no complaints. Go there. They're like, hey, can I have your voter registration card? Pass it to them. They're like, you're in the right place. And I'm like, yeah, I know. You probably got people that maybe are gumming up the system. That ain't us. We read the form, okay? Then they're like, okay, now that I've checked your form, you wait in line. So we waited in line. It took us, hold on. It's a very good experimental treatment. We waited in line, and that's okay. It's a Canadian tradition to wait in line. It's a pleasure to be able to do so and have the right to vote. Well, eventually we were like, why is it so slow? And we realized it actually takes about 2.5 minutes for every single voter to cast their ballot. And it's not the voter's fault. The ballot is very simple. It's just a paper ballot with a bunch of circles on it. put an X or really any kind of signifying mark next to the local candidate you'd like to cast your vote for. But when you get to the front of the line, they go, "Can I have your voter registration card?" And then you give it to them. And they go, "Can I have some ID that you're actually this person?" And then you give it to them. And then they have paper registers, like a paper spreadsheet of everybody that is registered to vote at this polling station. That, you know, I live in a city with like, I don't know, a few million people. Admittedly, the polling station that we go to, it doesn't have a few million people going to it. And it is divided into ridings, so there's like less people. There's still like tens of thousands of names listed here. They gotta go through manually all the pages, find your name, and then be like, "Okay, you're good to vote. Here's your paper ballot." It took like, I'm not saying, look, it's a very first world problem, but I did find myself being like, there's gotta be a better way. When I was younger, I was one of those guys that was like, by 2020, I mean, it's only 2019 right now, but you get the idea. By 2020, we're all going to be voting online. Why wouldn't you vote online? It's like, it's so convenient. Voter turnout will hit like, 85% or higher. It'll be a big positive. You know, I've realized, due to tens of thousands of data breaches, I don't trust basically any company or firm or body on planet Earth to handle our information digitally with the kind of security protocol that's required. So I respect the sanctity of the paper ballot, but I'm just like, come on, man. Something's... If 20 million Canadians are going to vote in this election, I don't know if it's going to be 20 million. It might just be, it might be like 15. But, it'll be up there. And each person takes between 2 and 5 minutes to vote. That strikes me as a situation where things could be optimized. I get that there's not much incentive. I'm not really complaining like this is outrageous. I'm just saying like there's gotta be a better way. Like it's faster on Survivor when they go into the back room and do the tribal council than it is to be, like, I didn't go in there and go like, "Hey, could you give me a lecture on who all these people are?" I went in there and I was like, "I want to vote for this person. Could you just give me the piece of paper and we'll figure this out?" And they were like, "No. You gotta go through the procedure first." I'm okay with it. It's not a big deal, and there's not much incentive to improve the speed of the voting system because quite honestly, it happens like once every few years. If you're gonna vote in like every sort of election, it happens more than once every few years, but not that much more. It's like once a year. Municipal, provincial, federal, that's it, more or less. City council, should we add one more bike lane? That's the pivotal one right there. By the way, you're probably noticing, as am I, this run is starting to get just the slightest bit touchy. You know why? Because there haven't been any freaking keys. Alicia or otherwise. There's been one key, we used it to open the shop. The shop had Greed Lord in it. Secret room? No. Okay, we'll explore a little. Still good, but we could use an item influx, and you would expect to get it in most circumstances as well. Should get a deal with the devil on the next floor, though. Anyway, I'm just saying. It is an antiquated system. I will also say that if you're the kind of person who's like, I don't want to wait in line for 7 or 8 minutes to have my vote be counted, then probably, I'm gonna be honest, my time is on a literal level. People tell me it's worth a lot, even though I don't necessarily respect that about myself. You got an uphill battle when it comes to proving to me that your time is too precious to wait in line for 10 minutes to cast a vote. That's gonna be... You're gonna end up encountering a lion Deb 8 in that one. A lion Doubted or a dang Deb 8 mixed together. But please, tell me about how you're so important that public policy doesn't affect you. Oh, they're all bad. I understand. Hold on. How on earth... I just want a key. May I have a key, please? I don't even know what I was hoping for with this one, but like, I would just desire the existence of a key, but that will not happen, apparently, unless maybe secret room. Nope, okay. Well, we'll be moving on then. You really want to get millennials voting. You gotta do what they do when you give blood. You gotta put an orange juice there at the end. I should start giving blood again. It's been a while. Ever tell you guys why I stopped? It's a very millennial... It's the exact instance of this bit, okay? Giving blood in Canada, it's a respected act, you know. I don't want to call it an indoctrination because it has negative consequences, or negative connotations, I should say. But, you know, we're taught from an early age that, like, it's your civic duty, if possible, if you medically are able, to donate blood, then you should do it. There's, you know, blood drives in hospital, or not hospitals, but blood drives in high schools. Kind of just want tractor beam because I'm a coward. Nah. And I've given blood, I don't know, probably 25 to 35 times in my life. But when again, it's the same sort of, it's got a little boomer bureaucracy happening there. I went to Korea, South Korea, a country that in many ways is more advanced than my own. When I came back, my parents are in the habit of giving blood, right? So they were like, hey, you know, you've been away for a year, but do you want to give blood? I was like, yeah, no problem. Of course, I like it. I mean, I don't like it, but I like the feeling it gives you from having helped other people. So I go there, and you have to give they do a little iron test to make sure you got enough iron in your blood, and I passed because I studied. And then they give you a little questionnaire, and they're like, you know, they start to ask some questions that, honestly, I get why they do it, of course, but no human being could have... If you're a logic-driven, rational human being, some of the questions, you just gotta answer with I don't know at some point. Have you ever had a relationship of an intimate nature with someone who had a relationship with an intimate nature with someone who visited one of these 17 countries on or before the year 1995? And you're like, hold on. I gotta make a few phone calls. Wait, let's be realistic. Hold on. I gotta make a couple phone calls. Let's not overstate it. Yeah, I know we haven't talked in a while. Is there... No, before we were dating. You know, your ex-boyfriend that you talked about all the time, did he visit East Germany between the years 1977 and 1993? Oh, you gotta make some calls? Okay, get back to me. Hold on, Tomo wants to leave. You may leave, my son. So at some point, you just gotta... I mean, they don't like me when I give blood, because I hit them with the real answer. And the real answer is, I don't think so, but no human being on planet Earth could possibly know for sure, unless they've never engaged in coitus, you know? You're asking me, it's secret Hitler, you know? I've got incomplete information. But anyway, then after that, I think, yeah, we'll just stick with blank rune for now. It could be Perthro, which is more useful early. Then after that, they leave you alone in the room, and you can put a sticker on your questionnaire. And I think this is a very positive thing, because, you know, some of the questions you might be a little embarrassed to answer them in the affirmative, in this case. So the nurse leaves the room, and you can put a little sticker on your blood bag that they don't know. But when it gets scanned at, like, blood services, it says this person doesn't think that their blood is suitable to be used. So you get, like, a little anonymous sort of way to say, you know, I think my blood might be unsafe. Which I think is a positive thing. But anyway, the help. Well, I guess I will try it. It was Perthro. I think we still prefer having the Guppy's head for now, but I do appreciate the HP. Now we got no bombs. The last time I went, you know, I came back from South Korea. They pulled me into, like, secondary questioning. And they pulled out this binder that has, like, you know, rigorous questions to ask about every country you know, that you could possibly have visited recently. And then, you know, I have to be clear. I don't think that the people at Canadian Blood Services don't know what they're doing. But it is the kind of thing as the end user that you go like, I mean, this... They have flat screens everywhere. In the year 2010, my parents were still watching TV on a 19-inch CRT that you could hear the static like 4 floors up. And you're gonna try. They were like, "Have you ever been to this part of the country?" And I was like, "Seoul? Yeah, no, I heard of it." They're like, "Well, we have to run like another questionnaire on you. Like, did you walk in the tall grass in the Korean countryside?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." But anyway, so it added like another hour or more to the blood giving process. Now I gotta admit, I don't really have the moral high ground to stand on here. It's still it's a nicer thing. It's a nice thing to do, you know. It's helpful. But it went from taking like an hour to give blood to taking like 2 hours to give blood, and I was like, at this point, that's a big chore to then get stuck with a needle and have like, you know, a couple pints of blood taken out of me. I don't mind, like, the needle aspect doesn't bother me. I'm thankful for it because, again, it's the same as the peanut allergy, right? Like, if you have a phobia about blood or about needles or whatever, you know, it previously, when as a younger man, I would be like, just get over it, forehead. That's not fair, you know? You don't choose that. Why? You gotta apply the basic principle to it. Why would you ever choose to have something like that? Doesn't make any sense. It's a detriment in your life. But doesn't bother me. You know, you're just sitting in a chair watching reruns of Reba. Reba. But it just made it too inconvenient at that point. If that makes sense, which is an entitled attitude to have. And again, I should now I've gotten out of the habit and I gotta go back. They also, don't get me wrong, but you know, when I gave blood like in high school, I cared about like diet and nutrition. We got into almost some Curb Your Enthusiasm style spats, because after you donate blood, you know, obviously your blood pressure and blood sugar is lower. So you do have a risk of like lightheadedness and yada yada yada. So they encourage you to drink some apple juice or like eat a cookie before you can leave. And there have been times where they're like, you know, "Sir, can I interest you in a cookie?" And I'm like, "I don't really want the cookie. Like, it's not good for you." And they're like, "You really should eat one of these cookies." And I'm like, "That's okay. I'll take like a juice even though I don't want to, but I don't really want the cookie." And they're like, "You know, we're not supposed to let you leave until you have the cookie." And I'm like, "Dude, I get that I'm being weird about it. As a 30-year-old adult, I would just eat the cookie and then, like, you know, I'd get over it. But I'm just saying, I just gave you a pint of my blood. Haven't I given you savages enough? Let me go. I'm 16. I'm invincible. Like, you know, I'm not driving the truck on the way home. Don't worry about it." Anyway, you should give blood. There's no... Oh, that was a waste of my time there. There's no moral high ground for not giving blood. If you have medical capability to do so. We don't even get paid to give blood in Canada, which, again, I'm not saying you should be. You know, it's a complicated issue for which I have no actual insight whatsoever. But, you know, it's just a good thing to do. And when things go smoothly, it doesn't take an hour. Most of it takes, like, you know, very limited. I mean, maybe like 40 minutes. But I do think, I don't know, maybe they've done this more recently. I do think, and if you're listening, Canadian Blood Services, this one's on the house. I get that it's a tough situation. You know, you're dealing with people's health, and there's been scandals in Canada, you know, before my time about, you know, tainted blood, you know, blood that was, it had some sort of pathogen in it that was given to people during transfusions. I get it, you know, you got to be sensitive about stuff like this. But at the same time, I think it should be like a fast pass. You know, if you've given blood, let's say 10 times, You get like a little, you know what, the like global entry, TSA global entry, or you know the Nexus that allows you to cross the Canada-U.S. border. You know, instead of being asked 75 questions about the width of your tires, they're just like, hey, you got any bad stuff in your truck? And you go, no. And they go, all right, sir. God bless. You know, they should have that. They still test the blood. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure they still test the blood no matter what. So I think if you've been through the procedure enough, and they're like, this guy, he's safe. You just go, okay, sir. You go into a separate line, and then they go, has anything changed since last time, sir? And then you go, yes or no. If you say no, they're like, please proceed to the chair. Here's your sticker. If you, for whatever reason, want to continue to get the credit for donating blood but don't want us to actually be able to use it, you can put the no sticker on. Otherwise, you can put the yes sticker on. I'll look away, and there's your chair. Mr. President, you're ready to go. You know? I'm just saying. You know, and that's why I would never work in this situation. I would never be a good fit for a not-for-profit organization like this, and I recognize that. I'm definitely going to take Eden's soul, dude. And I think I'm just going to go down and get these batteries here, and maybe we'll be able to take Guppy's head with us still. I don't want this to be millennial complaints about, you know, well, I saved a life, but it was inconvenient. You know, I think that's the caricature I want to avoid. If you want to be unfair, then I think that's something you could say about me. But really, it's like, couldn't it be more convenient is really that's the approach I would like to take. Yo, this is a very good payout here. Because if it were more convenient, more people would do it. It's not always good to be more convenient. Sometimes if you made it more convenient, I mean, it's a conspiracy theory. But I think if you made something more convenient, more people would take advantage of it, and that might be bad for your business, you know? If you have, like, a really cool offer. Like, isn't this the exact premise that, like, mail-in rebates function on? Which is why everyone, myself included, hates them, even though I'm apparently coming to their defense right now. You know, people buy something, and then they go, well, it's 75 bucks, but there's a $20 mail-in rebate. Then when they get home, they go, I'll do the mail-in rebate later. And then they never do it, right? They rely on, you know, probably like at least 25% of the people that purchase something not to actually remember or care enough to actually go through with it. To be honest, that is kind of how I feel about voting. Like on a principled level, I'm like, voting should be as convenient as possible. But at the same time, if you're the kind of person that won't walk 5 minutes, and I'm only saying this if you're in a convenient location. Some people might have to drive half an hour. Might have to drive an hour and a half. I don't know, maybe not, to vote. But, you know, for people in Vancouver at least, if you don't vote and you're like, well, it's because I'd have to walk 10 minutes and then wait in line for 10 minutes. Maybe it's good that you clearly don't care and as a result should not be incentivized to vote. I know it's a controversial opinion. I think everybody, you know, as I've said many times, I think you should be encouraged to vote. But if you care that little that you're not even willing to inconvenience yourself slightly, then I'm like, you know, maybe this is a happy medium. But for something like blood donation, I'm like, yeah, dude, make it as convenient as possible. As convenient as possible while still being safe. And where I'm ignorant is like, you might already be there. I'm like, just use the blood, forehead. I'm good. I don't understand why all these safety protocols are in play here. Okay, we can go this way. You know my opinion on stuff like this. I'm ignorant, but I think it's okay to be ignorant as long as you recognize your own ignorance. Where it becomes cringeworthy is when people are like, I don't understand why they don't just suck the blood out of you and use it. Like, I just don't get it. Whereas I'm like, I don't understand why they don't just suck the blood out of you. I mean, I get it, but like, at the same time, my life would be easier. I don't trust somebody who thinks they have all the solutions. I don't have all the solutions. All I have are problems. Did you watch the Fire Festival documentary? I'm like the opposite of the charlatan at the center of that, where he's like, we're not a we're not a problem-focused business. We're a solution-focused business. That's a line that literally means nothing. And, well, actually, it means something. It means never come to me with things that could actually improve our business. Only come to me with positive compliments. I'm the opposite. I have no solutions, but I got more problems than you can shake a stick at. Like, we had a situation, I can't believe I haven't talked about this before. We had a grocery store anecdote. We used the self-checkout at the grocery store. Something went wrong with the machine because, okay, I was about to say because they're made by idiots, which is not fair. They're made by a team of idiots. That's probably a better way to describe it. And the team is the operative word there. We put like a carton of eggs into the weigh station, and it went error, price-weight mismatch, or something like that. And, you know, you have to wait for an attendant to come and verify that you're not trying to steal something. So we waited like 3 or 4 minutes for an attendant to come by because it was late at the grocery store. You know, they were closing up in maybe like 25 minutes. There's nobody at the self-checkout that's there to be like, hey, you're not stealing. You know, so eventually I was like, Kate, we got to just like take all our stuff out of the bags here, go to the other self-checkout and try to do it over again. As soon as we unloaded like half of our stuff, and then a lady came out from like a back room and was like, oh, do you need like your parking validated? And we were like, well, yeah, but also like, thanks for attending to us after this red flashing light had been going off for like 3 or 4 minutes. And I want to talk to like the general manager of the grocery store or whoever, and I've done this exact bit before, but it still holds true. I want to talk to whoever the person giving requirements to the software developers is and be like, you know, the door to leave the grocery store is right there. We're already unattended. If we wanted to steal something, why on earth would we go through the trouble of scanning something and then putting something different into the bag? It just is like, it makes no sense to me. There's nobody watching. Clearly, I could just walk out the door. Now, I will say, I do think that there is a certain factor that's minor but does exist, where there are people who are like, oh, I wouldn't just walk out with the stuff that's stealing, but would be like, yeah, I'm going to put like, you know, carrots instead of organic carrots because they're cheaper, and they don't see that as stealing. And it is still stealing. It is, I mean, I would say on a judicial level, it is like, it's less brazen. But still, you know, it makes you want to steal. When you're like, I just want to pay you for the groceries, but your machine won't let me pay you because it thinks I'm trying to steal, when I could literally just shove this into my, you know, waistband right now and walk out the front door. You're only punishing the people that are trying to use the system as is intended. The people who are trying to grift the system are just walking out. They're not like, oh no, now that the thing actually has a scale, I won't be able to steal. They're like, oh sweet, all the staff are busy dealing with the flashing red lights at the self-checkout. It's less chance I'm gonna get caught on the way out, you know? It's mind-boggling. I just say, I don't know, man. I get that it's not that simple, because here's the thing, you know, when there's one person, things are that simple a lot of the time. You just go, hey, why don't you do it like this? This would be a better system for me. But then you got other people that are like, you know, they got different ideas, and you saw, you know, there's committee meetings and politics, and I probably shouldn't have popped Temesis, huh? And I'm sure even as the software developers are making it, they're like, I don't really see why this would be useful, but sure. Maybe you got like a few $1 million contract with a grocery store client. You don't go to the client and go like, hey, couldn't they just, all this security that you built into this, couldn't they just walk out of the store? You just go, oh, yes, sir, that'll be another, 275 billable hours. More power to you. Anyway, for now, I'm entitled, I guess, that's the gist of this episode. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. I'll stick radio. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!